Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. This is a late night review. Well, I'm recording this late at night, but we're talking about Range the Witch Mountain from 2009, starring Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Carla Gugino, Kieran Hines. Didn't know he was in this. Alexander Ludwig and Anna Sophia Robb. This was. I've watched this before. I think this is my third time viewing, because I think I watched this with my grandparents when this came out, and then I watched it later with my friends, and then now. And here's the thing. You should watch this while you're watching the rest of these movies, because not only do you catch certain things, you know, you kind of pay attention more, you kind of understand everything. I watched all 5 of these in succession, and, there's similarities in each version, of course. I remember I said before that, that this technically isn't a remake, that it could exist in the same universe. And I have a theory about that. But the story of this film follows Jack Bruno, a cab driver who's had some shakeups with the law, who happens upon 2 passengers named Seth and Sarah, who seem to have special abilities. And he is charged with trying to help them on a special mission, so to speak. What I remember the most from this in the trailers, where The Rock, where there's they go to this cabin, and there's a fridge, and they open a door. It's like a secret passageway, and The Rock says, "Don't go into the scary fridge, Jack," or something like that. I remember that, Sorry, I'm sorry if I play this with this a lot. It's a thing. I'm autistic. It's a thing. But yeah. So he's just a cab driver, and he gets out, and when he gets back in his cab, he has 2 fares. He takes this Dr. Alex Friedman, Carla Gugino's character, to Vegas. It's in Nevada, is where this takes place. But he has passengers, after he takes Alex to this convention, Dr. Friedman, to this convention, he finds them in his cab, and they just said they're going to give him $15,000 to take them to a place where they need to go, which seems to be a cabin in the middle of nowhere, like I said. But he slowly starts to realize there's something with these people. They can read his mind. These kids, they can read his mind and everything, and it turns out they're aliens. Meanwhile, a government agency, the CIA or whatever I don't know, sometimes secret government authority, led by Kieran Hines, and also features Chris Marquette and Tom Everett Scott as government agents. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. The dude from the Derpy Werewolf movie, where he chewed a condom like bubblegum, and the guy from Girl Next Door, we're supposed to be a director. Fuck you. Next question. I don't know. I don't see them as government agents. Maybe Tom Everett Scott now, but this was 2009 Tom Everett Scott, which was 97, right? So this was 12 years later. Okay, so maybe it's not that far, but I still saw him he was also in the Scream TV series. He was much more serious, but here, I don't know. They're sort of comedic characters, but not really. They're just like sidekick characters that show up. They work for the bad guys. At one point, you think they're gonna turn on the bad guys, but they don't for some reason. They set it up. When they have the aliens, Seth and Sarah, and they don't know if they should keep going with the experiment because it might kill them. And he's like, Kieran Hines is like, I don't care. And they kind of just look at each other, but they're gonna do it anyway. But I don't know. I feel like that was a turning point where they would switch. I don't know, but there are some pretty interesting cameos in this movie, to say the least. It all starts when, after the chase, they're... Okay, so, before I get into that, I want to talk about the one thing I did not like about this movie, and that is Siphon. It's played by Tom Woodruff Jr., so it's got the talent behind it, right? I didn't care for this character. It's another one of those characters where, no matter where they go, he finds them. It's a one-note character that has no lines of dialogue and just attacks them wherever they go. And it's not needed because you have the government agents finding them wherever they go. Unrealistically, I might add. Because they're able to slip away thanks to Gary Marshall cameo. And then, boom, they find them right away. It's like, no, there's no way. And I know it's technically their facility that they found him at. So, it's kind of on them. But still, for them to just find them like that. Yeah, apparently now Witch Mountain is a government facility. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, the cameos start after this big chase scene, and the cab gets, injured, for lack of a better term. It gets, beat the hell up, right? We get Cheech Marine as a mechanic named Eddie Cortez. Cortez, in the same movie with Garlic Gugino. No, this isn't a Secret Spy Kids sequel. I mean, it just, Plus, his name would be Felix and not Cortez. So, I don't know. But, we get cameos I didn't expect. That I really popped for when we get to the diner, the Roadhouse. Because I popped for these cameos. Especially, like I said, when I'm watching through all of these. Do you see? Do you see? Yeah, I did not expect. First of all, the waitress pops up, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that Kim Richards? Because she looks just like Kyle Richards with blonde hair. But is that her? And then she said her name is Tina. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, that has to be her. And then the sheriff walks in, and I go, hey, Sheriff Anthony. And I look at him like, yeah, that's him. They are Kim Richards, and I can't remember, Ike Eisenman. The original actors from the original movie in cameos. And let me tell you something. Ike Eisenman looks pretty much the same, just older. You can tell it's him. You look at him, you can tell it's him. Kim Richards, looks a bit older. Maybe she had some work done, but there are points. Now, this is where I said my theory comes in about how this could take place in the same universe. Let's say that they got older. They decided, hey, we're older now. We can handle ourselves. They come back down to earth, right? Tony becomes the sheriff. Calls himself Sheriff Anthony. Tia changes her name to Tina, becomes a waitress. And they're secretly hiding here, right? Here's the kicker. The place where this roadhouse is located, Stony Creek. That's right. The same place where the first film takes place. And Kim Richards helps them escape. The sheriff does hold off Kieran Hines, but I don't know. That could be either way. Now, who knows? And again, these alien kids might not even be from the same planet as them. You know what I mean? Who knows? Of course, this is a little more special effects heavy than the originals because this came out in 2009. So of course, there's gonna be more special effects than anything. I'm not sure. Yeah, but yeah, I popped hard for those cameos, man. As well as another cameo that we get later that I went, oh, because it's always fun to see this guy in movies. But so they decide that their best course of action is to go back to Vegas to talk to Dr. Friedman, and she introduces them to a colleague of hers named Harmon, who is Gary Marshall. Because it's always fun to see Gary Marshall appear in movies, and he's great in his small little role here. Gary Marshall, just yeah. And my favorite cameo of his though is in Hocus Pocus. They called me Master. What do you see when I'm gonna call you? And then there's another cameo. Okay, so eventually the government people, they find them, and Sarah uses her telepathy to activate all the machines in all the slot machines in the casino, causing panic and a distraction, right? And as the government agents are coming in, they're talking to a woman who just so happens to be Christine Lakin, Al from Step by Step. She's that one. There. The bottom. I was like, wait, is that Christine Lakin? I would know. I had a crush on her back in the day. Hell, I still got a thing for her. She's older than me. So But older women is a thing, right? Her. Technically Megan Fox is older than me by like a year. This chair is wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff going on here. But yeah. So they've been on the run from these government agents, only to find out we gotta go where their agency is located, on Witch Mountain. Of course, they gotta go to Witch Mountain. It's race to Witch Mountain, so that's where they gotta go, right? And yeah, because their spaceship is there. And again, constantly they're being tracked down by Siphon, which I feel, like I said, it's unnecessary when you got the government agents trying to find them. It just, I don't know, adds more special effects. Who's or what's it's, who knows. But it's here that I find, again, that they just so happen to catch up with them after being thrown off. But then, again, I think this is padding for the runtime's sake, is that Jack just lets the kids go. He could fight them off. He's the freaking Rock. He'd take these guys down. But no, he lets them go. And then they take down the government agents that they're in the car with and drive back, sneak around, and find the kids. Right? And I'm sitting there going, all this is doing is wasting time. This is just wasting time because we got to stretch the runtime out. This movie is... Telepathy. 99 minutes. You could have shortened it by 10 by taking this out. Maybe they escape, they get in the thing, But, yeah, and this isn't the only padding, because there's a sequence. Again, though, it's just basically stupid. They save the kids, and they get to the ship, escaping and everything. You get to the ship, they're able to activate it, and then Kieran Hines and his men show up again. Are like, oh, thank you. We had a hard time figuring that out. I'm just like, will you stop showing up every time they try to do something? It's getting annoying. Literally. Anytime they go somewhere, they're right there. Like, yes, they said they were flying his license plate before. Sure. But it gets annoying when you're doing a movie like this, and everywhere they go, the bad guys keep following no matter what. And the biggest problem, the biggest one, is that they get distracted, right, by Gary Marshall, and they're in a different fucking vehicle, and they still find them. It makes no sense. And this this keeps going, and it's like, oh, come on. And then they fire bullets at them. What? Huh? But the guy, Seth, in this one, his ability is to... He's basically like Martian Manhunter or Vision, where he can change his body density. So he makes them all bulletproof with the telepathy. And I'm sitting there going, can you just make it so it can go through them? Like phase? Then again, it could hit their ship. But they're able to escape into the ship because Siphon shows up. Then they ram Siphon with the ship and fly off. And Kieran Hines gets in trouble, right? Then they say goodbye, right? A tearful goodbye. And apparently Sarah gives Jack her telepathic ability. Like, he can talk with her through her mind. Which, I was like, wait, can't you do that? No, because it was only between the kids before that could, the telepathies. So now he has telepathies, I guess. The mind-reading telepathies, not the moving stuff telepathies. Although he might. I don't know. And they give them this device, which they could use to go off. And the movie ends. And then we have a mid-credit scene, or a credit roll scene, because the credits were rolling on the side, because Disney liked to do this back then. And they wrote a book about this called Race to Witch Mountain, The True Story. I feel like the government could go out of its way to cover this up, especially their involvement. I feel like they'd have the power to do this, but the book is there. Oh, another cameo, another strange cameo. John Kassir has 2 cameos in this. He shows up at the beginning to yell at Dr. Friedman's presentation on alien life, and then he shows up here to kind of do the same thing, complain and stuff. It's weird cameos in this movie. I'm saying, but yeah, this wasn't bad. Oh wait, no, I'm not done yet. I forgot. There's that. And then they go to leave, and they do a thing where there's a cab. Oh, he still got his cab? No, the cab moves, and he's got like a nice car now. He gets in, and the thing goes off, and they look at each other, setting up a sequel that never happened because this movie didn't make enough money. I'll tell you what, though, rewatching this, I think this would have been good enough to warrant a sequel. Box office be goddamned. Okay, sometimes, fuck the box office. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, oh, The Flash bombed, doesn't deserve a sequel. Look, box office is not the only thing that should determine a sequel. Alright? The Flash is a good-ass fucking movie. And it's a shame that they're just gonna dismiss it because it didn't make enough money. Well, maybe it's not the quality of the movie that's the problem, right? Maybe it's your lead actor. Just saying. And this is definitely not the quality of the movie, because this is a pretty good movie. It's on par with the first one and the remake, for me. I'm going to say it's pretty good. You know what I mean? It's not a bad movie at all. I enjoyed it. It's a fun watch. The only complaint I have, and it's not even with the movie, it's my Blu-ray kept freezing and skipping. And I don't know what it is, because I look back at this and it's perfectly fine. I don't know. It has some dust specks. I wiped it off a little bit, but I don't know. But yeah, this was fun to go back and watch. So there it is with that. Now we're gonna go off the beaten path a little bit. Take a little detour before getting back on track with other things. I'm gonna review a recent film that could technically be considered Disney, but also not, because it's owned by Disney, sorta, kinda. It's owned by a studio that was purchased by Disney, came out after the purchase was made, and is part of a franchise that is pretty popular and also contains one of my favorite movies of all time. The other is a TV series that you can watch on Disney Plus. Yes, there's two that I'm doing here. It's a TV series you watch on Disney Plus about a certain Asgardian frost giant. I'll leave it at that. Those are the next two reviews I'm doing. Believe me, it is. Until then, so what are your thoughts on Rage the Witch Mountain? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.